You're 65, you're finally ready to retire, and then you do the math and you realize you really can't. You see the number in your 401k and you realize it's not going to be enough to last you. Maybe it's $150,000 when you need $750,000, or maybe it's less. If this is you right now, don't panic. There's still time to fix it, but you're going to have to act fast. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to turn around your financial situation, even if you're already at retirement age. Some of the strategies I talk about are going to help you increase your retirement savings, and others are going to show you ways to decrease your cost of living in retirement. Some of these strategies could add hundreds of thousands of dollars to your retirement funds, while others could dramatically decrease the amount that you might need in retirement. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll have a complete action plan on how to turn around your financial situation. If you're new here, I'm Julie. I am a former Wall Street investment banker turned finance coach, and my mission is to help you to gain financial freedom. Let's start with some brutal honesty that you probably don't want to hear. Most financial advisors say that you need 10 to 12 times your annual salary in order to retire. So, if you make $75,000 a year, that's $750,000 minimum. And if you make $100,000 or more, that's $1 million easy. And if you're watching this, you might be in an even tighter spot. Maybe you had something come up that wiped out your savings, or maybe you prioritized your kids' college fund over your retirement. Alternatively, maybe you just started saving way too late and not enough. But whatever the reason, you're not alone. According to the AARP, approximately 40% of Americans have zero retirement savings. And many of those who have retirement savings are dramatically underfunded. Here's what I want you to understand though. Just because you're behind doesn't mean that the game is over. It just means you need a different strategy. The conventional retirement education assumes that you start saving in your early 20s and you retire in your late 60s. It also assumes that you've never had any major financial setbacks, and that's just not reality for most people. So let's talk about what actually works when you're starting from behind. The first thing that you can do is obviously to delay retirement, even if it's just by a few years. And I know that a lot of you don't want to hear this, but hear me out. When you decide to delay retirement, you have three things working in your favor. The first is that you're not withdrawing from your retirement accounts, which means they continue to grow. The second thing is you're still contributing to them, which is helping them grow even faster. And the third thing is you're delaying drawing on Social Security. So let's work through a real world example. Let's say you're 65 with $200,000 saved. Let's also assume that you make $75,000 a year. Conventional wisdom says that with a $75,000 a year salary, you need $750,000 to retire. So you're essentially $550,000 short. If you retire now and try to withdraw 4% annually, that $200,000 gives you about $8,000 per year, or about $667 a month. If you factor in Social Security, and let's just assume it's $2,000 a month for simplicity, that is less than $3,000 a month that you're trying to live on, which sounds tough. Now let's see what happens if you decide to work for 3 additional years. First, your $200,000 continues to grow. At a conservative 6% return, that $200,000 turns into $238,000. Second, if you contribute just $10,000 per year, which is completely doable on a $75,000 a year salary, you'll add another $30,000 of growth. Thirdly, and this is huge, if you delay retirement, you earn additional retirement credits up to 8% per year for Social Security, which means if you delay retirement, instead of getting $2,000 per month at age 65, you could get about $2,500 per month at age 68. Due to delayed retirement credit, your Social Security benefit would grow by about 8% per year. What this means in reality is instead of getting $2,000 per month at age 65, you could get about $2,500 per month at age 68. So if we combine all of this together, what it means for you is You go from having $200,000 and $2,000 a month in Social Security to having $285,000 and $2,500 a month in Social Security. That's an extra $85,000 in assets and approximately 500 extra dollars per month. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, I am so tired. I don't want to work for an extra 3 years. Trust me, I get it. Working longer isn't ideal if you have a job that you hate or if your health is in decline. But if you can swing it, even part time work can make a massive difference for you in retirement. And here's another strategy that a lot of people don't consider. If your current job is burning you out, maybe this is an opportunity to find something that is lower stress, even if it pays you less. At this point, you're not trying to maximize savings, you're trying to bridge the gap while you allow your savings to continue to grow. The next strategy that you can implement is to maximize catch up contributions. If you're still working, even if that's only part time, you need to know about catch up contributions. This is free money that you might be leaving on the table. Once you turn 50, the IRS allows you to make catch up contributions to your retirement accounts. The 401k limit for 2025 is $23,500, but if you're over the age of 50, the IRS allows you to make catch-up contributions. This also applies to your regular IRA accounts as well. Look into the specifics regarding your age and your accounts and the specific year in which you're watching this video. I know you're probably thinking, I don't have extra money to contribute, but here's the thing. These are pre-tax contributions, which means they will reduce your pre-tax income dollar by dollar. And let's say you contribute an extra $8,500 at a 6% annual return. By the time you turn 70, that's an extra $40,000 or more that you'll have in your retirement account. And if you manage to continue working until you're 70, 10 years of catch-up contributions of $8,500 will give you an extra $85,000 in retirement. And when you add the growth of those deposits, that could be over $140,000 extra in retirement. The key here is to take advantage of the catch-up contributions and to automate it so that you can just set it and forget it. You're going to have to live on less in retirement anyway if you're in this situation, so you might as well make the most of the opportunities that you have now so that you can live better in the future. The third strategy is a strategy that's becoming more and more popular. That is a phased retirement approach. Instead of going from full-time work to full-time retirement overnight, you create a phased approach that works for you. This might look like reducing to part-time at your current job, doing consulting in your field of expertise, taking a lower stress job in a similar industry, or starting a business that you can run with flexibility. The beauty of a phased retirement is that you continue earning income to cover expenses while your retirement savings continues to grow. Even earning $20,000 to $30,000 per year can make a huge difference when it comes to maximizing your retirement savings. For example, let's say you need $50,000 per year in retirement to live comfortably. If you can earn $25,000 per year from a part-time employment, that means your investments only need to earn $25,000 per year for you instead of the full $50,000. That means instead of needing $1.25 million invested at a 4% withdrawal rate, you'll only need $625,000. By working part-time in retirement, you not only get the financial benefits, but there are some psychological benefits as well. Many people struggle with the identity shift from working full-time to being fully retired. Taking a phased approach to retirement gives you time to adjust and find new sources of purpose and fulfillment. Some practical ways to make this work are talking to your current employer and seeing if part-time work is an option for you. You could also consider seasonal work. For example, many retirees work in busy seasons in companies like retail or tax preparation. Another option is to do freelancing or consulting based on your area of expertise. You could also turn a hobby into a small income stream on the side. The key here is finding something that doesn't feel like the grind of your current or former full-time employment, but still provides some structure, purpose, and income. The next strategy I'll talk about is Social Security optimization. This is probably the most significant strategy for people who are significantly behind on their retirement savings, simply because Social Security is probably going to be a larger percentage of your post-retirement income. A lot of people claim Social Security as soon as they're eligible, and oftentimes this is a mistake. Your Social Security benefits increase every year that you delay making a claim. Here's how it works. Full retirement age for most people watching this video is somewhere between 65 and 67. If you claim Social Security benefits at that age, you get your full benefit. If you claim early, your benefits are significantly reduced. On the flip side, if you delay claiming your benefits, even after you're eligible, you earn delayed retirement credits, which increases the amount that you receive every month. For example, let's say you claim at 62 and your full retirement benefit is $2,000. If you claim at 62, you could get as low as $1,400 per month. If you claim at 67, when your full retirement age is 67, then you would get that full $2,000 per month. However, if you wait just 3 years and claim them at 70, you could get up to $2,500 per month. That's a difference of over $1,000 between claiming at age 62 and claiming at age 70. Over a 20-year retirement, that's more than $250,000 worth of benefits. And let me address the elephant in the room. I know that we're all afraid of Social Security going bankrupt and disappearing. But even the experts say that in the worst case scenario, Social Security would be reduced by about 25% versus being eliminated altogether. So you're likely still better off trying to maximize your benefit. You also don't have to claim Social Security as soon as you stop working. If you have other sources of income, such as part-time work, or perhaps your spouse is still working, you can delay claiming your retirement benefit. There are also something called file and suspend benefits for couples who want to maximize their household Social Security benefits. These can get complex, so make sure you do your research and work with a financial advisor if this is something that you want to look into. The bottom line here is, if you're behind on saving for retirement, Social Security is probably going to be a large portion of your retirement income. Therefore, you want to do everything you can to try and maximize the benefit. Don't leave money on the table by claiming it too early. The next strategy I'll talk about is aggressive expense reduction. The harsh truth is this: if you are that far behind in retirement savings, you may not be able to afford the lifestyle that you currently have, and you may need to make some cuts. That doesn't mean you can't have a good retirement. That just simply means you need to be strategic about what you're spending your money on moving forward. Let's start with a few of the big ones. Housing. This typically is your largest expense. If you own your home, you can consider downsizing to a smaller home and investing the proceeds, moving to a lower cost of living area, or taking on a roommate or renting out part of your home. A lot of people downsize in retirement, and a really great way to increase your retirement nest egg is by downsizing and investing that difference. The second big expense is usually transportation. Do you really need 2 cars in retirement? A lot of couples find that once they're in retirement, 1 vehicle is plenty. They can sell the second vehicle and invest that money. Healthcare is another large expense, and this can be tricky because this usually tends to increase as you age. But there are some strategies that you can try to implement. If you're not yet Medicare eligible, you can try getting a high deductible health plan and opening an HSA account. You can also look into Medicare supplement plans that will cover some of the costs, and reconsider locating to states or even a different country with better healthcare rates. Another thing to consider is debt elimination. It is critical to eliminate your debt if you're going to try and live solely off of your retirement income. Every dollar that you owe and every payment that you need to make in retirement needs to come from your retirement savings. So the lower your debt in retirement, the better. Consider whether it makes sense to pay off your mortgage if you still have one. And make sure to eliminate any of that bad debt or high interest rate debt before you enter retirement. The key here is to run the numbers before you retire for your specific situation. That way you can most optimally set yourself up for success. The next strategy I'll talk about is diversifying your income streams. Those who have watched my past videos know that I'm a huge proponent of this, and it's no different in retirement. Traditional retirement planning assumes that you're going to live off both the nest egg that you've built and Social Security. But there are other ways to earn income in retirement. One way is through real estate. This could be something like house hacking or having a rental property. It could also mean moving into a duplex and renting out one side of it. Or it can be even simpler, and you could invest in REITs or a crowdfunding platform to generate income on the side. Another option is to invest in dividend-paying stocks. While you shouldn't put all of your money in dividend stocks in retirement, having some money in dividend stocks could help generate regular income for you. Having some investments that generate regular income can be helpful. Look for companies with a long history of paying dividends. Other things to consider are side hustles or small businesses, tutoring, teaching, pet sitting, dog walking, selling crafts or baked goods, driving for a rideshare service, or becoming a virtual assistant could all generate additional income for you in retirement. The beauty of these side hustles is you can scale them to be as large or as small as you'd like to fit your own individual income requirements. Another option is annuities. I'm generally not a fan of annuities because of the complexity and the fees, but if you're detrimentally behind on retirement savings, an annuity may make sense for you. Be sure to research this and consult a financial advisor. One final option is part-time work, and I know we talked about this earlier, but it really does bear repeating. Even an extra $500 to $1,000 of extra income in retirement can make a huge difference. The last strategy that I'm going to talk about is tax optimization. When you're behind on retirement savings, every dollar matters, which means you cannot afford to overpay on your taxes. Some things to consider are a Roth conversion. If you're in a lower tax bracket now than you expect to be in retirement, maybe because you're working part-time, for example, consider converting some of your traditional IRAs into Roth IRAs. You pay taxes now, but all future growth will be tax-free. Also consider tax loss harvesting. If you have investments in taxable accounts that have lost value, consider selling them, which offsets capital gains and up to $3,000 of your ordinary income per year. Another thing to consider is geographic arbitrage. A lot of states have zero income tax, and it's very common for retirees to relocate to these states. If you have flexibility in your location, consider making a move to reduce your tax burden. Another thing you can do is strategically sequence your withdrawal. The order in which you withdraw from accounts matters in retirement. Generally, you want to withdraw from taxable accounts first, then traditional accounts, and then Roth accounts. And then finally, you want to take advantage of your health savings accounts. If you're still working and you have access to an HSA, make sure you maximize it. After 65, you can withdraw money from an HSA for any purpose, although you will pay taxes on it if it's not for medical reasons. But for medical expenses, this money is always tax-free. And since your medical expenses are likely to increase in retirement, building these accounts up is a good way to save money on taxes. We've talked about a lot of different strategies. Now let's talk about how you can put it all together into an action plan. Step 1 is to get clarity on your numbers. How much do you currently have saved? What is your expected Social Security benefit? What are your essential expenses in retirement? What is the gap between what you have and what you need? Step 2 is to prioritize these strategies. If you can only do a few of these things, focus on this. Delaying retirement if possible, maximizing your Social Security benefits, and aggressively reducing your expenses. Step 3, create a timeline. If you're 60 or younger, you have more time for the growth strategies. If you're 65 or older, you may need to focus more on income generation and expense reduction. Step 4, consider getting professional help. These strategies can quickly and easily become very complex. And when you're this close to retirement, the stakes are high. Consider working with a finance coach a fee-only planner, or a social security specialist, or a tax professional. Step 5, start immediately. Every month that you wait is a potential month of growth that you're missing out on. Here's what I need you to understand. Being behind on your retirement savings is scary, and it is a very serious financial situation, but it's not a hopeless one. The strategies that we've discussed today have helped thousands of people turn their retirement around. The biggest mistake that you can make is doing nothing simply because you feel overwhelmed by the amount of information that I've provided. Pick 1 or 2 strategies from today's video and then start implementing them immediately. Your retirement might not end up looking exactly as you had pictured it, but with the right strategies, it can still be very comfortable and fulfilling. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. And if you're in a similar situation to this, I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment and tell me what you're struggling with or anything you have questions on. And if you're looking for a finance coach to help you navigate your own retirement, send me a message. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. You guys have got this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.